Yeah, hello everyone. I was having a look through my videos the other day and I see it's over a year since I've done a report on or an update on this layout. I'm sure I've done one in between times, but no, never mind. The layout has been virtually totally rebuilt. The main station that was up in this area has now been moved downstairs to here with a larger goods yard. The old goods yard used to be up here with the farmers. So that's kept me busy. The locomotive shed that was in this area has also moved downstairs. I have to buy a factory to go in there, just an excuse to have a bit of shunting sort of thing, or marshalling. This little township here, that was down in there, where this end of the bottom section. I'm trying to walk around a heater here, so but surprisingly it fitted in nicely just here. So that there is now the branch line, which was once the main line. It leaves that station easy for there and travels out past that wagon along here, around the, I'm trying to zoom out slowly, round the corner, under that water wheel, whatever you want to call it, that little place there. Still got to wire that up along with that one. However, the railway line climbs up the hill and rejoins the old branch line in that area and journeys away up to the end, up by that bridge there, by the sawmill. So I did have it so the trains took about 4 minutes, I think it was, or 5 minutes to do a journey from the top station back to the top station again, but that has all drastically changed now, and I'll get them running and I will show you the changes. Right, I have them running, all set to go, so we will see how we go. I've had several little mishaps trying to get them to run, but here we go. So when this 218 leaves, it travels down and now it sets other trains running. So we'll turn her on, she should go. Yep. Now when that train gets back, that locomotive there gets back in exactly the same position as it was just there, it takes around 40 minutes now, purely by chance. It was not planned that way. Admittedly, there is a lot of sitting up in this area under here. They sit for quite a while, so they're not actually running all the time. But I have 6 stops in under there, and there should be only 5 trains under there at any one time. But it gives me a chance to, or the trains a chance to settle, to rest. And then down the bottom here we have 1 stop, which is just a crossing loop more than anything. But now I've just got to try and find that train. It should pop out here. That's right, it's travelled up the spiral. It's doing what it should do. Toots the horn, yeah, that works. It will go into that station and it will stop. And it will move this one here up, like that. And in turn, that one will move up, we'll move this one up It will, believe me, it will, yes. And then that one will also set this one off again. Right, gets away. And it travels down, closing the signal or changing the signal as it goes. There we go. And it pops in underneath and sets that cream one in there. The 197, no, it's a, I don't know what number that one is. That's a 218, I think. And it heads up. It should have actually changed that signal to red there. It should have done that. There we are. Finger of God worked it. And when it gets into the station, it sets that one forward. Any second now, he's off. And he got a wagon off the track. Look at that, the last one. That's right, I'll fix that in a minute. And then that moves the train in behind that up. And then that one up there, journeys down there, goes down the spiral, and it will come in, down the spiral, and come in beside that one. Oops, down under there, and stop in under there. This one will come up, and it will do a run round, setting the other trains going, but it will not go into that top station. This is getting complicated, isn't it? It actually comes in beside this locomotive and underneath there and stops on a isolated section in there, and it sets that train out, which then comes down into the station here and sets this one off, and that's the system. Now that was purely by chance, not planned. I can run them as separate layouts by closing this point and that one, then the trains on the top will all stay there, and then by closing that turnout there and one that is in the back of the tunnel there, I don't think we can see it, there's one away in there, the bottom bit becomes a separate layout. Excuse the British carriages along there, they were recently donated to the Pleasant Point Museum. I've had them in here because they kept uncoupling. Every time they sort of got a wee bit of a jerk, they uncoupled, but I've adjusted all the couplings and they now run very well. Got the little LEDs in the windows there that light up on the table lamps. However, I better go and fix that wagon that's off the track. Right, now the turntable, it is an old 1960s model. I've had it since then. It's had a hard life, but it still works very nicely. But it's not digital friendly as far as having an analog turntable working on a digital layout. It was doing something funny, I don't know what, but locomotives decoders were not liking this, what this was feeding into the system. So it has been completely insulated down there. The two rails and the centre stud have all been totally insulated. It works perfectly now, though what I had to do was rewire it through a switch here that one way went to the track and the other was to the turntable. So it meant when I flicked that over to turntable, it would work. Go back. And then I'd switch it over to track and I would be able to run the locomotives on it. So that has solved that problem. The other little problem I had was one of my videos a few weeks back was to show this little beast off. It's a Brava model, class 294, and it has, they call it extra, but it has the, if I can carefully zoom in, the digital uncoupling. Now you can see how that hook is rather high. It's a plastic thing, and I was able to remove it from the locomotive at both ends and slightly bend it up, because the coupling height, while it might be NEM height, it is totally different height to my older Marklin stock, and you only had about a less than a cat's whisker to what's the word, you know, for the hook to hold the loops or the hoops or stirrups, as people call them, those little round things, and consequently a bit of a dip in the track and it uncoupled. So I bought the spears that Brava have for this here, the coupling spears, and I wasn't going to do it with the couplings that were in the loco and then find that I did the wrong thing, but I slightly bent it up a wee bit, and just by holding in a pair of pliers and then resting a soldering iron onto the pliers, just so it put a bit of warmth into the plastic, I was able to bend it both ends, and it worked. I reassembled it all, it worked. It's a beautiful locomotive, fantastic sound. There is a video on YouTube with it, about it, and that was when I was opening it up. I found out all the different functions it's got. She's a cracker. So I might just start her up and show it to you again.